Okay, so the last keynote of ROSCon India is by Mr. Jigar Hilani. Jigar Halani. So, Jigar is Director of Enterprise Solutions Architecture and Engineering Team at NVIDIA South Asia. He's a versatile professional with close to 2 decades of experience in supercomputing, big data, AI infrastructure background, encompassing operations, business systems design, implementation analysis in dynamic and challenging environments. The topic for his talk is the future of human-machine interaction, the challenges and the opportunity. So over to you, Jigar.
Are you guys still awake?
I am a translator, transforming text into creative discovery. Movement into animation, and direction into action. I am a healer, exploring the building blocks that make us unique, modeling new threats before they happen, and searching for the cures to keep them at bay. I am a visionary, generating new medical miracles, and giving us a new perspective on our sun to keep us safe here on Earth. I am a navigator, discovering a unique moment in a sea of content,
We are announcing the next generation.
and the perfect setting for any story. I am a creator, building 3D experiences from snapshots and adding new levels of reality to our virtual selves. I am a helper, bringing brainstorms to life. Sharing the wisdom of a million programmers, and turning ideas into virtual worlds.
Build Northern Forest.
I even helped write the script. Breathe life into the words and compose the melody. I am AI, brought to life by NVIDIA, deep learning, and brilliant minds everywhere.
Okay, not bad. I thought so. Thanks, guys. Okay. But that was generative AI, right? That was not a physical world. Let's talk about the physical world. That's our robots. So I want to start with this and the topic of the day that I have chosen, right? This was way back in 2018, which Government of India sponsored event. Once in a year that happens, where a keynote person comes in and gives a speak to the entire leadership team of India. Leadership team of India. And it's government who calls the entire leadership team for that one day to block out themselves and listen to it, what's happening in the world and how it's going to change the world way back in 2018. And trust me, guys, since then, I don't think so India has looked back when it comes to AI. We are thriving. We are thriving in many angles, and I know many things to be achieved as well. Good questions on India, and somebody should talk to me on what India is doing, because last week there was GPI, that India hosted, and you should have seen the kind of demos, the kind of work, the language issues, everything is getting resolved and the pieces are coming together. Okay? I draw this slide from Professor Pulkit from MIT. I just love his presentation when he talks about robotics, right? And he rightly says, and we truly understand this phenomena, which is the text world, which is happening in the digital space, how we call it as, and the physical world, which is where robot needs to touch and do things correctly, right? Solving the chess in a computer is far more easier, far easier, trust me guys, because the moves, the rules, the regulations, the environment is all set, right? Versus just opening a door. The simplest task is the most difficult task that AI is yet to solve. And it's going to take quite amount of time to get it solved, right? In a right professional way with a lot of conditions and environments around you. Okay? And we are very diverse when it comes to India. Very diverse, not just from language, road conditions, but also from the geographical perspective of the situation as well, right? Extremely important. And thereby I thought that it is important for us to know while the generative AI world is thriving, and I said this yesterday in my, panel discussion as well here, right here, saying that everybody wants to do Python because they want to get the job with the highest package, right? Nobody wants to do robotics because it has many angles. And let's understand what those angles are. So remember that AI has only two aspects largely to do and build the models, right? Which is train, and that means you need to have data and you are training the model. And the last one, which is deploy and manage. But robotics has 4 steps, okay? That is to train, simulate, build, and then deploy. And trust me, when the rest 2 gets added, the complexity level is more than 1000x, right? We just talked about it in the panel about the sensors, the kind of motors, what's available in the market, the evolution which is taking place. Studying all these things and not building it by yourself, putting those pieces together and them driving it together on the field, in the environment, which is possibly known, possibly unknown, partially known, partially unknown, or completely unknown, and then still making sure it is working at the cheapest cost. My God, that's too much of complexity, isn't it? In the case of AI, which is the normal AI, video analytics, language, and so on and so forth, all I have to do it is keep pumping the data, which is the unique data, retrain the model or train extra, and then deploy it. And in the deployment, keep optimizing the software and bring the hardware, which is far more cheaper, which the world is anyway building it across. There's enough and more competition happening. NVIDIA announces chip now every year as per our roadmap. And every year we bring down the cost by half. Every single year we bring down the cost by half. Okay, so that piece is taken care. But when it comes to robotics, it is extremely difficult, right? Because you need to simulate the environment. Environment known to you, again, unknown to you. You need to build, and build has thousands and lakhs of components that you need to put them together and make them to work, and then finally deploy them and manage them. Okay? Here, deployment is again very different than the traditional deployment. In the traditional deployment, you have just piece of hardware which is somewhere sitting in data center or at the edge, and that's pretty much about it. It doesn't work, you have a HA, the failure takes place on some other device, and it still keeps running. Here, if the failure happens, God knows what's going to happen. Okay? My production line could go down because now it's running by robots. It's not that difficult too. And there are tools, techniques, learnings. I am really thankful to Ati Motors and the learnings that they were able to share it across. Don't build everything. They are right. Don't build all the softwares. They are right. That's because a lot of development that has taken place. And I want to touch upon those things, in my, slides as well. So this is what NVIDIA has to help you with, in each of these segments to make your life easier. Bring on your idea. We have pre-trained models. We have simulation environments. We have build, and operate and deploy and manage ecosystem as well that we have brought it together. Okay, and I'll touch upon it in my upcoming 4 slides with some demos as well to you on what we are trying to achieve. So let's first talk about the training, right? And this is our favorite topic because we have been doing this topic for 10 years and we were the pioneers, right? And I really take pride about this subject. What we have done as the whole journey is we ourselves have purchased a lot of data from the market. Okay, we have generated a lot of data as well because now data can be generated thanks to generative AI, thanks to Omniverse, the platform that we have. And with that thing in play, we have built something known as Tau, the last piece of it. Okay, we call it as Tau Toolkit, which has hundreds and thousands of pre-trained models available to you. Pick and choose based on your need, club them together, right? And you are good to go. That's available free of cost to you guys to just consume it and retrain it with some additional data that you have it from your end. Sounds good? The next is the simulation piece of it. Now, this is something which is our favorite topic. The reason is it's all graphics. We've been doing this for 30 years. We just love it, right? Now that we have to create these scenarios in robotics, all we had to do was bring the ecosystem together, build the platform in a fashion that all these tools which are there in open source and commercial side of the story have a common way to talk and have these things built into it, what you're looking for it. And that has many things. It has to do with your materials, to your simulation environments, to physics, to whatnot. And we have done all these things, made it open source. I would not call it completely open source, but yes, the commercial version of the same is also available, but the free edition version is also available up to 3 users. Okay, which means you can now collaborate. Okay, you have 2 or 3 different skill sets, they want to collaborate, you could do it on this platform, simulate the whole environment. Not just this, you could now create a lot of synthetic data as well. All is possible. We have all material property and other things being ingested already in the plane. And let's take a simple example of that.
Amazon Robotics has manufactured and deployed the largest fleet of mobile industrial robots in the world. The newest member of this robotic fleet is Proteus, Amazon's first fully autonomous warehouse robot. Proteus is built to move through our facilities using advanced safety, perception, and navigation technology. Let's see how NVIDIA Isaac Sim, built on Omniverse, is creating physically accurate, photoreal simulations to help accelerate Proteus deployments. Proteus features multiple sensors that include cameras, LiDARs, and ultrasonic sensors to power its autonomy software systems. The Proteus team needed to improve the performance of a neural network that read fiducial markers and helped the robot determine its location on the map. It takes a lot of data, and the right kind, to train the ML models that are driven by the robot sensor input. With Omniverse Replicator in Isaac Sim, Amazon Robotics was able to generate large photoreal synthetic datasets that improve the marker detection success rate from 88.6% to 98%. The use of synthetic data generated by Omniverse Replicator also sped up development times from months to days as we were able to iteratively test and train our models much faster than when only using real data. To enable new autonomous capabilities for the expanding fleet of Proteus robots, Amazon Robotics is working towards closing the gap from simulation to reality, building large-scale multi-sensor, multi-robot simulations. With Omniverse, Amazon Robotics will optimize operations with full-fidelity warehouse digital twins. Whether we're generating synthetic data or developing new levels of autonomy, Isaac Sim on Omniverse helps the Amazon Robotics team save time and money as we deploy Proteus across our facilities.
Okay, that's what Isaac Sim does. Now, the build part, the most difficult is how I believe in, because this is where ecosystem plays a role. This is where your uniqueness comes in, and this is where the cost optimization needs to be done. Okay? Again, there we have many pieces which has been solved. We work with many partner ecosystem over here. We have over 1,000 plus partners with whom we work, certify them, put the plugins together, thereby it makes your life easy. When you load us, it's all up and running. Okay? You find the pieces together when you build in with our partner ecosystem. And if you are one of them, please do feel free to reach out to us. Happy to make you part of this ecosystem as well, so that when you sell it to your customers, if they are on NVIDIA platform, it's going to help them adopt you much faster, okay? And covers many aspects of it that you typically look for it, right? All again built with open source, ROS compatible. All AMD components that you might be looking for it is all covered over here. It's one of the most richest ecosystem that we have ever built it, along with our partner ecosystem. No other competition has this in play, okay? And again, all open source.
As robots become more ubiquitous in industrial environments, it's essential that they can perceive rich 3D information about the world. In this video, we'll demonstrate how roboticists can use NVIDIA vision-based ROS packages to help a robot navigate a space in simulation using NVIDIA Omniverse. To achieve a truly robust solution, it's critical to test a robotic system in simulation in a wide variety of scenarios. Instead of handcrafting multiple scenes, we can use Replicator, which is a part of NVIDIA Omniverse. Replicator makes it easy to procedurally generate a large number of environments. From a starting kit of individual assets, it uses a simple set of rules and constraints to fit your unique space and ensure that the testing and training results are representative of the real world. Now that we have a simulated environment, let's see how we can help the robot navigate through it. First, the robot needs to know where it is in the world. We compute the robot's location and movement from images by tracking visual features in the surrounding space. NVIDIA Isaac ROS Visual SLAM taps into the power of the GPU to bring these algorithms to any robot equipped with an NVIDIA Jetson module. But knowledge of the robot's position alone isn't enough to safely navigate complex industrial environments. Robots must also be able to discover obstacles and obstructions on their own. NV Blocks, also released as part of Isaac ROS, uses RGBD data to create a dense 3D representation of the robot's environment. This includes unforeseen obstacles that could cause a danger to the robot if not observed in real time. Here, we show the onboard reconstruction matched against the real geometry of the simulated scene. We obtain an accurate mesh while still being able to run real-time on a Jetson. From this dense 3D representation, we compute traversable zones in which the robot can safely move. In this example, collision costs are used as inputs to an open-source path planner, ROS2 Nav2. This enables safe navigation through the warehouse. With Isaac Sim Replicator, Isaac ROS Visual SLAM, and Isaac ROS NV Blocks, you can more easily bring the power of simulation and visual navigation to your robot today.
So maps, navigation, your perception, 3D scenarios, all has been inbuilt, okay? And the last piece, which is the ecosystem that I was talking about it within this. And finally, how do you deploy? And when you deploy, how do you do the fleet management on the going scenario, right? And again, we have pretty good ecosystem that we have built in. I love the most the co-op part of it, which is the route optimization stuff, right? One of our first early customers were Domino's. They used us when they are to deliver the pizzas in the US in the most optimum way, okay? And they always had a mathematical problem to be solved because a pizza delivery boy from a station to a place where it has to deliver, there are 3 lakhs possibilities of how this pizza can be delivered in the most optimum way and which one to choose and why, right? When you have to solve these kind of mathematical problems, again, parallel computing plays a role and we have a library for that. We call that as co-opt. And now we use this extensively in robotics environment, okay? And mapping, dispatch, and few others which are in play. Okay, now this tells that robots and ecosystem and what we are trying to build is all coming together. And yes, NVIDIA has built a lot of stack around it. And I'll have my last slide talk about those end-to-end ecosystem and stack, how it looks like. But what's disrupting the most, which is for the existing robots and the upcoming robots that people are trying to build, right, is the generative AI. And the text part of it, we have already talked about it. My first video showed it. It's no-brainer. Everybody's today using generative AI in one form or the other. But the vision is just kickstarting it. And trust me, this is going to be the mind-blowing thing which is going to take place in the transformer world, right? Vision with transformers. are going to disrupt, because Vision was the first app of AI that the world has used it for last decade plus at scale. When we are going to disrupt it now with generative AI, we are going to see a very new world that we are going to look towards it. A good example is CNNs are dying and generative AIs are taking up on it. And I'll show some statistics and numbers with a video to it as well. And it's not limited to just one thing. The generative AI on the edge is almost every place that we can think of it. And the implication of this is already visible. There are many partners and customers who have deployed this in different industries. And let's take two simple examples that I have it over here. You can see both the sides, two different scenarios. One place I'm doing people counting and face recognition. On the other side, I'm trying to, search through the video, few scenarios that I want to do it. Where the car is, if the person is wearing the right set of suit, which needs to be worn inside the workshop, and so on and so forth. Okay? And look at the accuracy numbers that we are talking about it. That's CNN, and that's vision-based transformers. It's taking place, right? The future is, I will have 4 cameras possibly at my home, and I'll be querying it on those cameras. Where is my kid located? Is he or she crying or not, right? Is he eating? Is the nanny who is staying with him is beating him? That's the kind of scenarios I'm going to query on my camera which is installed at my home, right? And I will have a small Python script which I'll be writing it with the help of generative AI on ChatGPT, asking it, create an alert on my phone if you see these 3 scenarios. Okay? It's going to be as simple as that. That's the new world we are going to see it. The last slide before I wind up, and if any questions. That's the ecosystem I'm talking about it. It's quite rich, right? When you build it with just open source component versus when you build it with our open source components, this is the difference we are talking about it. With that, I want to pause. I know I have taken less time because we were running short of time, so I thought I'll optimize it a bit. But you can reach out to me anytime. Here is my email ID and social media profiles. Happy to help, and if any questions.
Folks, any questions we have for Jigar here?
I still think so. And the reason is, we are not the world. We are just in the beginning of the AI world. Trust me, when I talk about, let's say, Fleet Command, I'm just taking a simple example. There are 3 of our partners. They sell more Fleet Command solutions on our own platform, which is Jetson, than we ourselves, which is open source, completely free. And they charge, right? On our own hardware, they are making more money than us. And there's a simple reason, because they have enough extraordinary robustness and the feature sets that the customers are demanding that they've been able to do it. What we are trying to do it is, whatever is available from the open source community, how do I accelerate that on GPUs, make it more compatible, run it more faster, optimize it so that you see the maximum performance out of the GPU is what all we are trying to do. Yes, we are trying to bring few feature sets, which we believe among the download set that we have, and I've shown 1 million plus developers, the common questions which are coming to us. And that will be the ask, because if we don't serve that, nobody would want to stay with us, right? That's the only difference. Are we good? Okay? Okay? Sorry, I could not see. There's a light, the reflection. But yeah, now I can see.
Thank you for the great speech, and it looks that NVIDIA is looking into the future. So I want to know, like 10 years down the line, where do you see like NVIDIA trying to like penetrate the market space? Because there's a huge demand for GPUs. So would it be something more on the software side or hardware side, or what ecosystem are you trying to build into?
10 years from now for NVIDIA, is that the question?
Yeah.
So I truly believe 10 years from now, everything will be AI-fied. Everything, including this room that we are sitting in, right? And there will be tons of application that we must be using it by just talking, walking, with fingerprinting or finger pointing or many other things, right? And thereby, evolution of both hardware and software needs to be done in parallel. Trust me, when I go to these conferences and talk to people, especially the EDA companies, and we had a panel yesterday with all EDA company, all the semicon companies, this is the first time ever the hardware team of that semicon company is talking to a software team, and the software teams are more eager to talk to the hardware team, asking where the world is moving towards and what features you are looking for it. Okay, so it's going to evolve very differently in my view, and everything will be AI-fied essentially. And thereby the ecosystem is going to be far more richer.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll pause and give back 5 minutes maybe, so that we can be on time.
Sure. So I think one question that I would, like to add on behalf of everybody here. So when we hear the word NVIDIA as a product or a service, right, there are two core applications or feature lists that we come to. One is AI, one is robotics. Now, of course, AI is a more massier one at this moment. But how does NVIDIA as an organization balance their services or their offerings amongst the two? Or is it a little towards one of them?
I think they are both integrated. I don't see them as a differentiated product. If AI training is available, it's applicable on robots as well. If my deployment platform of AI is available, that's applicable on robots as well. If I do simulation for high performance computing, if I do simulations for media entertainment, if I'm able to do simulations for CA/CFD softwares, why am I not able to do simulation for robots? It's the same platform, right? And the last piece among the 4 blocks that we have, deployments. Yes, that's a new piece. That's not integral part of AI, but trust me, edge is growing even on the plain vanilla AI as well. And thereby that evolution equally needs to play. It's all integrated in our view. And being a graphics company, that's the advantage that we have, that the missing piece, so-called the others don't have, which is the simulation, is what we have already built in the last 30 years. So we are able to put the pieces together, grow the ecosystem together.
Thank you so much. I think let's have a huge round of applause for Jigar here.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you for the lovely presentation and walking us through all the questions.